best way to predict the future is to create it. Peter Drucker. Good evening, everybody. I didn't think I would make this video, but I did. I can't even talk. But I said, heck, why not? Ryan on the island, what is this false flag? You can easily Google it and it'll auto-fill for you, either on Google or YouTube, which makes me question it, which is why I'm going to talk about it, because no one else is really just kind of questioning it logically. First off, oddly today with synchronicity, I went fishing today and I slipped and slid down into the water into a lake area, and had trouble getting out. I think I would have gotten out before, but there was someone walking and he was sitting on the bench just looking. He overheard me and he helped me out. And I think Dave, if you're watching ever, and I gave him my contact info. I don't remember his last name. Everything happened so fast. But I kind of had to keep calm, just figure things out. How do I get out of it? Water wasn't freezing. It was cold, but I wasn't shivering, so I wasn't too worried. I was pretty much waiting in one spot, just waiting. I was standing. It was up to my probably waist. While I asked him, I told him that there was a rope in my camo bag, which I always carry around with me, along with like a med kit and a couple other stuff. Who knows when emergencies happen? That's why I have all that stuff. So it took him maybe 10-15 minutes to get, but he eventually got to me, got me out of that jam. I think. The thing is, yeah, I could probably gotten out of there, but someone else helping you out of a jam, most likely you're gonna, yeah, it's a safer bet. Let's just say that. So, yeah. Now, let me go to my usual. So live. Quote of the day: best way to predict the future is to create it. Peter Drucker. I don't really know him. $0 via cryptocurrency. So if you do want to donate, I've got $0 via cryptocurrency. That'd be awesome if someone did. You could donate via Bitcoin or my choice of crypto, which is Vertcoin. You can always join any of my Zoom channels or my live streams. I provide the Zoom meeting information in the YouTube description box. I also restream to DLive. So if you're on DLive, it won't go there, but you can find it also on Steemit via or vim.tv. All of my material is always free. Never gonna have some like extra content where you have to pay extra or whatnot. If there is anything like that, well, then you know I'm selling out. Okay. You can donate via Google Super Chat. They take a big chunk out of it. I added my PayPal.me if you want to do that. I disclosed the amounts that were received for that month and in total since September 22nd, 2019, at least for PayPal.me. And of course, I just do all of it for Google Super Chat on the first video of the month. And if you don't have anything to donate, well, don't fret. If you are a Globe Earther, you can prove the Globe Earth and get $15,000 from Zen Garcia and then donate to me a 10% finder's fee. It should be easy, right? I mean, they proved Globe Earth, what, 2,500 years ago? So it should be pretty simple, huh? Take him to court, get that money. And of course, go ahead and join the Flat Earth People Finder if you are a Flat Earther at zoomtruth.com and get involved. You can do a lot of different things to help out, or you can just try to find other people. Hi, Grant Jarvis. And so this is the blog. So I don't necessarily just disclose the amount for Bitcoin or Vertcoin, because You can always check via the blockchain. These are 2 transactions. I took money out of my Patreon account when I had it and gave it to Susie Dawson way back. You can even see a video of it. There's Vertcoin, and you can also check it here. And of course, $0 still. Flat Earth People Finder, pretty cool site. I think, I mean, I will be helping, especially when I get the chance, but solo parenting right now, and it's gonna be a busy month, so it may not be a while until I can actually help out. Now let's go to exactly what this whole video is about. So I caught this on a couple of channels. Like right now, go to infiniteplanesociety.com. Earth is flat, Seattle is doomed. You see it a lot. If you type in Seattle, you'll see 11.3. It's at the top list. It's like you type in flat Earth, and you're not gonna even get that stuff. But yeah, Seattle, of all things you could talk about in Seattle, comes at number 1. We'll just take a look of all the videos. What's is interesting is, yeah, okay, there's some Holy Spirit win. I've only watched a couple. I'm just saying, okay, how are they basing their these predictions from what TV shows? One of the things I wonder and I question is, why 2019? Like, there's alluded to 44, which is the 44th week, 311. Of course, you just mix it up. You know, instead of happening in March 11th, it's gonna happen in November 3rd. And the thing is, then 9/11. Why didn't they call it 11/9 type of thing, right? So you just kind of have to think back in a lot of different situations where predictive programming, and the thing about predictive programming, it's usually after the fact. Something happens on a certain date, and then they look back on a couple of shows or videos or movies that they watched, and they go, hey, that's weird. They're mentioning certain keywords like Twin Towers. They're mentioning or they see a certain number, which is 9/11, and it just kind of, the list adds up, and it's like, wow, is that just coincidence? Is that luck? Is that really predictive programming occurring? We haven't really had many people actually predict a predictive programming false flag event, not that I'm aware of. I mean, there's been some warnings of false flag terrorist attacks. But the thing is, those are the people in the know. Those are the people who are anonymous, and they just have forewarnings out there for people. Then these events occur, and you don't know who's driving all of this. And if they're gonna reveal that stuff and get everyone on board, they're probably in control of the whole situation. Have people under their control. And first off, when you don't know their names, you don't know their face, it's hard to trust them. I mean, a lot of people that are making these videos, they don't have a face or name that you can lock down. And some of the things that I do question is, I mean, as I look at their history of their videos. So probably the first ones that I watched linked to this person who's German. What's interesting about him is he started his YouTube 4 years ago, had a lot of views for like recipes. I mean, that's a lot of views. It was probably almost like once a month, it looks like. I mean, there wasn't very much 4 years ago. 3 years ago, not too much. 2 years ago, he did one. And then all of a sudden, he comes out with the Humanity, the fake attack on Seattle, starting 3 months ago, and then 2 months ago. It's like YouTube food channel. All of a sudden, I mean, for however many videos, and then all of a sudden, predictive programming, false flag feature event. It's a little bit suspect, in my opinion. So hacking the headlines, I'm subscribed to her. I don't really agree with a lot of her stuff. I think, but I always listen to everybody. And she points out to, I think it was No More News. I don't know who that is. I subscribe. So you could find out a lot of the stuff by just doing a search. Go to Infinite Plane Society, talking about it. Tim Truth. I don't think Russian vids. I don't think I trust any of these people, but I watch some of their content. Sometimes they sounds legit. Sometimes I question it a lot, but I think it's good to really follow certain individuals and see what they predict, and see what they get right, see what they get wrong. Just like all the people who predicted the end of the world, you would think that the people who follow these religious people who make these predictions because God told them or something like that, and then that end of the world doesn't come, people still follow them. People still go, okay, when's the next one? Because I understand your excuse or something like that, and cognitive dissonance, whatever it is. I have only got, I think, 2 predictions. It was not through some alternative consciousness type of thing. A lot of that stuff I'll put out there. I don't know if it's gonna. Usually, it's not something in the future that's gonna happen, except for one. But I don't put out a date. I didn't get any dates. I mean, I may see some coincidences, synchronicities with numbers and things like that, but that can be easily manipulated through psychology, sociology, and all of that stuff. So unless I see it in nature, I don't take too much stock into it. Another thing to do is, like I was mentioning before, you just type in predictive program. You don't even spell out the whole programming part, and you get a whole bunch of results already. There's been a lot of predictive programming stuff in the past, and to have it come up at the top of a Google and YouTube search result is, just something you got to question. And I don't think anything is going to happen on 11.3 or 3.11. Hey, Flighthead Politics, that is Greg Wilson, right? Welcome, awesome. Hi, Bob. Hey, go ahead and join if you want to talk with me. All the information is in the description box. I'd like to know your thoughts, Greg. And we could talk about more stuff about the Flat Earth People Finder as well. I didn't think I'm going to do a long video on this, but sometimes I never know what's going to happen. So let's look at some of the stuff that if we do predictive programming, Seattle, before it's news, reports on it, Adam Green, Fabetia Iota, I don't know, Truth or Fiction, Winter Watch. It's no, what's interesting, it seems like no mainstream media is reporting this. It's just kind of, hey, let's let it run through the alternative media. Let's let them just kind of try to predict something like a false flag event, and then they'll get it wrong, and then it also probably gets people to go, look at these conspiracy theorists, they got their predictions wrong, and then therefore you're just going to get a lot of people just, I mean, there's just so many points of strategic importance within this event, whether it's going to happen or it's not. For example, let's say it doesn't happen, okay? Then you've got a whole bunch of people in the truth community, whether or not they're adamantly predicting it, or they're just kind of, questioning it, or pretty much saying, yeah, it's probably not going to happen, and then I'm putting myself in that boat. You've got a lot of people who just are being led by whoever is just putting this out there. We don't know who it originated from. Maybe it did originate from this person who just made a lot of recipes and cooking videos, and all of a sudden switches over to predictive programming for Seattle. Some people have been known to do that, get a lot of views. And then what happens when it doesn't happen? I'll bet you that they'll probably say, oh, it's probably for 2020 or 2021, or maybe it's supposed to be for March 11th, 2020. We'll see if things change with the predictions. I mean, I know it's to get people warned, but the thing is, people are going to, by and large, just do their everyday thing. People who are going to work or travel on Sunday are going to work and travel. If they're going to go to the football game, they're going to go to the football game. They're not going to stop what they're doing based on what YouTubers are stating. Now let's move on over to, let's suppose it is true. Let's suppose it does happen. Now what does that entail? Well, that entails just a lot of people possibly saying, well, I think a lot of the people who are kind of still asleep are going to say, that's a lucky guess. The other part maybe, well, it just solidifies the legitimacy of certain truthers, which some people would call questionable, and all the people who are reporting on it. It's like, hey, these guys are legit. They know what's going on. They can read the Matrix or something like that. So I think that could be another plan. But then what you gotta think as well is, if it does happen and all of this occurred and there's been warnings about it by these alternative media and conspiracy theorists, and no one did anything about it, to think about it, like they say it's gonna be a fake event, so it just I don't know. I just think that there's just going to be a lot more people woken up by this in some effect, and goes against the control that the controllers really have over people, because it's like, hey, wait, there's been a lot of people warning about what's going to happen. It's going to be a false flag event, and then something is going to happen that day at that place, and then the government agencies are just going to be, look, you guys should have seen this. I mean, it's in the top results. There's got to be some news outlets. I think there are some news outlets actually that debunk it. Seattle. Nope. Well, they don't really have that. Let's do 11 3. Well, they don't. Interesting. Let's see. I have I almost made me say that mainstream media isn't reporting on this because it's effing fake. If there were an actual major threat, this would be all over the news. Well, not necessarily, because you would think that they wouldn't want to cause a panic, and also they wouldn't want to reveal before it actually happens, when they're going to actually do it, that put it on a major mainstream news site, because it's like, hey, why are they reporting on it before it happens? And then it just solidifies the entire ordeal for the fake event. Watchman Observer, I've seen videos today. I should go back over here. People packing up and leaving because they are convinced this is going to happen. Yeah, I feel this is more of one of those injections of fear. What am I don't even know if I want to call it theory. One of my assumptions is that a lot of people I don't really trust, that make up a lot of content, espouse a lot of fear, a lot of anger. They want to get those negative emotions up, and they'll even state, yeah, I don't want to be one of those fear mongers, because they understand that there's that going around, but they do it anyway. And it just, no matter if you think and that's part of the weird things of my awakening, I guess, if you want to call it that, is I don't really have fear. It's just death is gonna come. It's gonna come. Even when I slipped and slid into the lake in cold water, I wasn't afraid. And I stopped a little bit, thought about it, saw someone coming to help. I was like, okay, let's think this through. What's the best way to get out of this situation? I was worried about my kids, so I wasn't going to give up no matter what. So that's that. But there's a difference between that and fear. I think if fear overrid me, I wouldn't have stopped to think. I would have panicked. I would have made bad decisions. I probably wouldn't be here making this video. And also, there's this weird synchronicity that someone was just out walking and stopped to sit on a bench and noticed that I looked over and I wasn't fishing anymore. I was splashing around. So it's just weird stuff. But I don't dismiss any of that stuff, but I can still question it. I can still put logic to it. And so far, it just doesn't logically make sense for all the content that's put out, and it happened pretty fast. And I still, again, that originally it was the 3/11, but then I think there might have been some predictions that it was going to happen on March 11th, but since it didn't happen, they just switched it. Okay, maybe it's like the European day first and then the month second, but that would make more sense if it was going to happen in Europe. But since in America, that it's month and then day. Let me just check here, just make sure if anyone joins. Let's see, event drivers, or they are repeating Reichstag false flag, Reichstag fire. But I don't think there was any false flag predictive programming predictions that it was going to happen that day, and even time. I think some of these videos, they state it's going to actually happen on 10:05 a.m. when the game starts, probably on Pacific Standard Time. So it's just one of those things. We'll see what happens. We'll see what people think. I mean, I've got predictions that I've made a long time ago, but that's, again, logic. It's not based out of predictive programming. I could allude to, hey, it was on The Simpsons, so it's probably going to happen because stuff that was on The Simpsons happened. But of course, stuff on The Simpsons also didn't happen, so you can't base everything off of predictive programming from programs like that. And the only, I mean, no one has a record. No one where we know their face, their name, who's just kind of public about it. No one's ever been accredited for predicting something like a false flag event and getting it right. No one. There's been a lot of people who are kind of anonymous that started it or something like that. Can you trust someone who's anonymous that predicts something like that? Most likely it's the people or that know about it and are doing it and just getting it out there just to instill some type of fear or get people onto some type of conspiracy theory, which is being controlled by the bigger players out there. So that's kind of it. That's all I have for you guys. We'll see what happens. I mean, we've got about 10 hours to know if it's going to happen or not. Now, it's going to be something different if it does happen in 10 hours. But we'll see. I mean, there's probably hundreds of hours of material out there about the 11/3 Seattle false flag event. And so I don't think anyone's going to be really ready for it. Which sucks if it does happen, because I know a lot of people from Seattle. I used to live up there. So it's also kind of wishing it doesn't happen, whatever it is. But if it is a false flag event, wondering if people will actually be hurt or killed, or if it'll just all be one of those false flag events where it's no one really gets hurt. I mean, it's faked from day one. And then we also don't get the indicators. Watchman Observer says 105 PST. One of the videos says it was at 10:05. It's when the game starts because of the predictive programming numbers of 10:05. But yeah, it could be 105. Grant Jarvis. So Lucky Luciano, how many more hours until the game starts? 10 hours. Grant Jarvis, I'm thinking 9/11. U.S. government knew it was going to happen, but did nothing. Yeah, it's one of those another one of those things where at least when a predicted false flag shooting event happens or psyop occurs, that at least there were some indicators, such as there were training sessions of such types of things occurring, right? And so then they just did everything by the book, filmed it, and said, yeah, it really happened. So at least that has something like that. At best, they just have the Aurora Highway 99 bridge needing repairs for 10 days. That's the closest thing. Emergency repairs. It's the closest thing. 1:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That would be 13 hours. Sorry. 10 hours till 10:05 or 13 hours till 1:05 Pacific Standard Time. So we'll wait. Then we'll do another video, another live stream Sunday night. Oh, Sunday is gonna be tough. Yeah, probably Sunday night. I'll still do something on it. We'll wait and see, and then we'll see if people put down their videos. They'll like delete it. Oh, okay, this didn't happen. We'll also probably see if anyone makes a readjustment, because that's what usually occurs in these predictions. It's like, oh, okay, we just figured it out wrong. It wasn't 11/3/2019. It was 3/11/2020, or maybe it's 11/3/2020, and try to get things whatever. But we actually have a serious problem if it does occur tomorrow, or today. That's gonna be a different beast. Anyways, thank you for joining me, and that's it for tonight. My signing off saying is, rather than questioning my sanity, you should start by questioning your insanity. Thank you very much, and have a good night.